me tonight. They got to see me.
I think if you got a guy like that, you go like that, 6'4", guy, you got to trust.
Everybody watching tonight. So I tell you what, if you get fired into the next, you're in the wrong business. We control this. We run this. And anybody coming out of the house,
they got Jordan Davis last season. They bring Fletcher Cox back in Philly. So I'm sitting there like, we need to put something on this offensive line to combat that. What is going on? Welcome back, everybody. The Dallas Cowboys do not lose at home. We advanced to 10-3 on the season. And what did Des Bryant say? Smoking on that Eagles pack. Tell Deshaun Jackson go to run that 10K. Talk to me a bit about how you're feeling, bro.
Hey, big dubs, man. Big dubs. Statement win. Definitely a statement win. And really, man, I think we was all feeling this way, right? And they just came out there and confirmed what we was feeling all along. Like, I know you asked me right before the game how I'm feeling. I'm like, it's no nervous energy when it comes to it. We always play Philly well. I was thinking 10 plus from the get-go, but boy, they carried it to 20. Obviously 33-13 the final score, but I felt like we could have put up 40. And in Dak words, he felt like he could put up 50. Oh, man, but I think everybody, as far as like just complete phases, man, the defense, I think they showed out well, got the turnovers when it needed to. Dak, did he play his best game? It was some missed throws in there, Well, I could say missed drops. You think about the CD bomb, you think about Brandon Cooks and the potential touchdowns that we had. And then overall, man, we just moved the ball up and down the field. Even in the red zone, we look good. Mike McCarthy, appendix surgery, whatever it was, it didn't matter. He showed up. Seemed like the guys rallied around, and it seemed like we really wanted this one, man. And then how about Brandon Aubrey, man? Automatic.
Ooh, yeah, Mike McCarthy getting surgery, Dak giving surgery, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
verbatim, right? 7:15 yesterday. I said hour till kickoff. How you feeling, bro? I'm confident, bro. I got us winning by at least 10 plus, to be honest. We got it. How you feeling? Verbatim, right? So you called your shot, you hit it. Dallas covers that, lays the 3.5. We get that. You mentioned Brandon Aubrey, bro. So I'm headed to go to the restroom because I was like, okay, we're at like the 50-yard line. It's fourth and whatever. I was like, all right, it's going to be a quick punt. I'm going to go to the restroom. And I hear them saying they're sending Aubrey out. And I was like, hold on. What are we doing? Come back over, take a peek, bro. My man, like it's no problem, bro.
Man.
Looking like Justin Tucker and Robbie Gould had a baby out there.
It's a great feeling, man. I know we always used to just talk about how good those Dan Bailey days was. Like, man, what a weapon that was. And, it started off rough, man. We had the Maher days and Big Leg Greg. We thought that was going to be an era. But then, how it started with training camp and just his story alone, just, the soccer league. And he didn't even know he was going to play football and all of this. And just to have a local kid, Dallas, he's already a fan. He comes in there to start his career off with, 30 for 30, man. Unforeseen and, obviously making history, a 59-yard kick and a 60-yard kick in the same game. First time NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
He's automatic, man. And like you said, to cross that side of the field and just know you have a guy like that, that's going to come big, big time games, especially come, January, December playoff football. It's amazing to have.
I'm going to have to go back and see what kind of, what kind of contract we gave him because I know he was undrafted. So I'm curious how long we got him locked in for because I have a feeling we're going to have some salary cap issues on our hands here soon, but we'll dive into that at a later day, right? Couple things I want to talk about, man, on the offensive side of the ball. Penalties all over the place, the offensive line, holding calls, but for some reason the Philly O-line don't get holding calls, right? We ain't got to go there.
For sure.
But Terrence Steele, I thought, did all right. Did better than expected against Hassan Reddick. That was a matchup I was kind of nervous about headed into this one. But when you're up, two scores, then it's kind of hard for them to send the pass rushers that way.
Man, look, we was the more physical team, man. And that's what I like to see, right? And just all facets, all sides of the ball, whether it was in the trenches. We knew about that offensive line. Still like could be arguably still called the best in the league. The defensive line is strong, but it felt like we was the one pushing it. We was the one, taking the fight to them. And it missed something. It just went to show you, it was all a talk, was it a blueprint out? And then you heard like the interviews with AJ Brown, like y'all gonna see come Sunday, and like really on our side, man, it's just a cool confidence. I ain't even hear too much. It was just right away, they come out there right away, they drive the ball right down the field. And then it just seems like, man, at any point, man, I feel bad for even giving them that 7. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they didn't even deserve that, right? It was a a complete beatdown. I just hated that I even made it closer than what it was, man. But you know, what I mean, even for Dak to say what he said, Dak is just playing at a new level. The favorites just dropped. He's now favored in the MVP voting, as should be. Put some respect on that guy name, and then put some respect on our name as well, man. You know what I mean? You know, when it comes to what we going to do, you know, what was it Seattle? Is y'all gonna be the winning team? Oh, y'all just did this to Seattle, but now they're not really a winning team no more. Wait till y'all see Philly. You know what I mean? And what's gonna happen and what happened? They get boat raced just like the rest of them at home, man. And you know what I mean? And I think it goes to I guess you could say into the last matchup where I felt like we really, really should have had that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we all came out of that like, man, we really supposed to have that game. It was just a game of inches, and that was our theme, right? And then this time, man, I think like as a whole, like we was feeling like that as a community, but I think the players really knew like it wasn't no fit. It was like I think we the better team. And I think we showed that, like, as far as this upper echelon, yes, San Fran got us, but it really flipped the switch. What might just be the silver lining in, you know, our season in general. Like, we needed that. As crazy as it is to say that, though, right? But I think when you look at it from a standpoint of like who are those teams, like the Cowboys, really, you look at the point differential. We've been blowing these teams out all year round. You know what I mean? Something we just been doing. Philly been squeaking by, just squeaking by. You know what I mean? Barely doing it, but you know, hey, we're resilient. We're able to come back. We're able to get those wins. But then, you know, these last couple of weeks, you know, you get that adversity. San Fran smack them in the mouth, and what do you say? We come out here and do the same to 'em. You know, what I mean, with all the marbles too, division on the line. Because if they win that game, I mean, you might as well say it's over as far as getting number 1 seed or 2 seed winning a division in general.
It's crazy too because Bosa came out talking about the blueprint that they gave it out to us. Bro, we had the blueprint. Dak just stepped out of bounds. I've been saying for years we're better than Philly. We just haven't really had the opportunity, man, to prove it. And I think that we finally did do that. I think, you know, we showed last night, you know, we are better than the Eagles. 100%,
We better.
especially at home. Where we stand with San Francisco, time will tell. I'm assuming we will find out later on, maybe in January. But Dak Prescott, right? You go through, I'm going to read you this box score, man. 24 of 39, 271, 6.9 per pass, sacked 3 times for a loss of 15 yards, right? Beautiful. You look on the other side, man. I'm pretty sure I read a stat this morning that Brandon Aubrey had more kicking yards than Jalen Hurts did at playing quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And who is Braden Mann?
And a lot of
Oh, the punter. Okay.
I don't know. Okay.
Okay. I was like, who Braden Mann? I'm looking at the box score. But no, what were you about to say right there?
Now I was gonna say, you know what, and a lot of those yards was like garbage time, you know what I mean? And then like with Jalen Hurts, it just was it a blueprint out there? Did the San Fran said it? Did we said it? But I know we talked about it like in the midst of the game, and I was just thinking, like, just watching. I'm like, I really haven't seen Jalen Hurts make any throw outside the pocket this whole game, and it seems like moving forward, like teams are gonna play him this way. Like, look, we know y'all like to get yak. It's gonna be a lot of yards after the catch. But you know what I mean, outside of that, if Jalen Hurts just don't give him them running lanes and just make him sit in the pocket and be a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not taking off and running. He's just forced there to, you know, go the whole game just throwing and throwing and throwing. It really isn't too much to fear out there, to be honest. I mean, you know what I mean? And outside of the tush push, how many times did they run a tush push? That's what, like 1 time, 2 times, maybe?
I think it should be.
Like the fact.
No,
Now go ahead.
I thought Dak was running the tush push better than they did for real. Because what did we run that like 3
Facts.
times?
Facts. Well, we didn't even do the tush push. Dak just he lined up behind Zach Martin and got a yard when he needed to, man. And you know, what I mean, for them, the fact that we was able to just kind of keep them behind the chains, they didn't really have a chance to do that. You look at DeAndre Swift, the run game. Did they even really attempt to run it too much? But I think for the most part, the run defense was good. Hopefully, Jonathan Hankins, I think it's just a high ankle sprain. Hopefully, we can get him back soon. But you know what I mean? I think everybody stepped up in a big way. You know, Micah, flu game, whatever you want to call it, he took it to Lane Johnson right away.
British.
Physical, man. I love Michael Parsons,
Had that
man.
man leaking.
Osa, what? Osa, once again, man, he made his plays. D-Law just does D-Law things, man. Just up on the stat sheet. But I think the biggest guy we got to talk about is Stephon Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He kind of, you talk about setting the tone. Well, I think in this game for sure, he set the tone. You know, AJ Brown getting in his face, and you see Gilly talking back to him, like, man, that's crazy. And they say he poked the bear. They asked Stephon what it was. Now I think, you know, AJ Brown called him old, and now he answered the bell, man. And whether it was fighting, the technique he had, man, how patient he is, like in the route. You know what I mean? Guys is just doing all these different things. He just kind of waiting on them, patient. He's on them. and then like the open field tackle on Devontae Smith, and so many more plays he made throughout the game with a star, man.
I,
Glad to have him.
I want to say too, man. I know they mentioned McCarthy. They were talking about he might have to go up to the booth and call the game from there, and he was like, "No, I need to see Dak's eyes for this." And it's
Yeah,
crazy because Mike just wanted to feel that, right? But
yeah,
staying on that defensive side of the ball, man, the way these boys tackled in the open field last night was a thing of beauty, right? So you talk about tone setting, man. When Dono got the strip early on, I thought that right there is kind of what set the tone. So we got our Dono sighting, kind of what we've been waiting for in what you could say is the biggest game of the season thus far. And that was great to see. But the open field tackling, man, was a thing of beauty. There was one play in particular. It was a 3rd and long. It might have been a 4th and long where Swift took off and Deron Bland was there and to hit him in the open field with a little shoestring tackle, man. Thing
hmm
of beauty right there, man. Thing of beauty. And
yeah,
that's something that, I credit Dan Quinn with. We played a lot of man coverage last night, and it was crazy because Jalen Hurts saw it, and you could see from a mile away when he starts taking off. Like as soon as he saw man, he was out because he didn't have the ability to throw. The pass rush
yeah,
was in his
yeah.
face. But you look at the PFF rankings when the game kicks off, right? And we've been talking about the left side of our offensive line. Tyron Smith, 1. Tyler Smith, 1, right? So we got the best left side in football. However, Philly, I'm pretty sure every single one of their O linemen was in the top 10 of those rankings.
Yeah, they got guys up there, but like I said, we took the fight to him.
Mm-hmm.
We took the fight to him, and then like it's crazy. I think they even mentioned on the broadcast one time, and I'm kind of sitting there watching the whole thing, like the game start. I'm like, oh boy, like they lined them up on Lane Johnson right away.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, Michael Parsons, he used to, go ahead and get the better of Mariota, but I think they just kept him on the strong side. And the fact is, he came off there, like you said, literally punched him in the mouth right away, let him know he
Had
hit,
his
and
10
then like
strap all in his nose.
that time he got home, he went through 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, like you said, we ain't gonna talk about the holding calls for some reason. I think he just kind of got that LeBron effect where it's like he beats guys so often, it's so normal, so natural that I think if you was to really look at it from that perspective, you probably be calling holding every play, man. The guy's just different, right? And not to switch back and forth. We talking. Let's just kind of stick to the defense right now because there is some key guys I want to talk about on the offensive side, right? You heard all the talk leading into this one, like the Shaquille Leonard, man. That whole talk, and he chose Philly, and Dallas says, it's okay. Like we kind of went there for depth purposes. We did want to bring him in, Philly. I think it was more of a need, but in this game, you saw how bad that linebacker room was, and they got so many moving parts. But I really don't think he's a difference maker there. You think about the secondary, that's weak. The linebackers are still weak. So he's signing all these pieces. We give Howard Roseman all this credit, but really, man, it's like a lot of makeshift things going on right now, and it's not really good. I don't think it's something that you can just flip the switch and then you like, okay, I'm back here, right? They do got an easy schedule coming up. I think they got the Giants twice. They got Arizona and they got the Seahawks, right? If you beat Seattle, I mean, yes, Seattle should take them a fight, but it's like those really the games you need heading into the playoffs to really feel like, okay, we're back. On the other side of it, people look at it like, damn, we got the tougher schedule where we get the division, where we get the conference. I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like we playing our best football, and then we get that uptick in competition while we head into the playoffs. Like we really don't have no time to slack off, really no time to let down. If you think about it, like to be able to get Buffalo, to be able to get Miami, right when we get Miami, to be able to get Detroit at the end of this stretch, I really think it's a blessing in disguise because by the time that we really get into the playoffs and we running against these teams, like we done already seen them, man. We done already played against the uptick in competition. We'll know by the time we got this 4-game stretch, like if we're ready or not. And I truly think we're ready.
I think the beauty of our remaining schedule. So I got Philly here. They're at Seattle versus New York versus Arizona, and then finish at the Giants, right? And if we can go through and do our thing right here these next 4 weeks, man, Philly's going to be forced to have to do their thing. But I think if you look at our schedule, outside of a Week 18 against Washington, man, we got to make sure we stay locked in the film room. We got to make sure we stay locked in at practice, right? Because we got tough competition on our schedule. Now, that Arizona loss is still haunting us to this day, right? And Arizona's terrible. So, but if you think back to that game, man, we had a mess in the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Dak didn't stand a chance in that game. But you talk about the defensive side of the ball, and you mentioned D-Law. He don't show up on the stat sheet like that. But this man, Osa, bro, I want to say Osa was ranked the 5th DT in PFF, and I don't put too much stock into PFF for real, but
Yeah.
Osa, man, is playing like a superstar here lately. Osa has been
Yeah.
impressive.
Osa is that dude. Like he just continues to make plays after plays after plays. And to piggy off like that and the defensive line itself and how deep we are, we you look at it, the more you look at it, it's like you said, we're just the overall better team.
Mhm.
Like that defense over there is terrible. And we got the dogs, right? We got dogs on defense regardless. But the offense, like like what we dealing right there, and for them to be that bad, I think we know. So we talk about the pivotal losses and not to bounce back and forth, but I did want to mention that when I brought up Shaquille Leonard was that Marquise Bell and your boy DeMar Clark, they showed you exactly why we set at linebacker, and
Mhm.
both of them had solid games. But as far as like the pivotal losses, I mean, and what I think it meant to the season, I think each one of them, even though it hurt, right? Like Arizona Cardinals, we look back at that loss and we're like, dang, we shouldn't have lost the Arizona Cardinals. Whereas the same reason why they talk about competition and we see these teams compete. Any team can get you every week. So it's important that we come out, that we put our foot on their neck and we blow these teams out, because it's not easy to do it, but we make it look
Mhm.
easy. And I think that one game showed them like, wait, we can't afford to slip up, right? And then we got on our high horse a little bit, and we thought we was where we needed to be. And I felt like San Fran was another pivotal step in this whole journey, where I think we all came together and was like, dang, like we got to change some things up. Like if we come out here and we show up like this and we thinking we where we are, oh, the offense need to change. We need to feature some more guys. Jake Ferguson got involved. I think everybody took a look in the mirror, right? And then we had that whole switch from there, and I think that changed the season. Then you think about the loss in Philly, I think that was pivotal because at that point, I think we already made the changes and we did everything we could to win that game. And I think just the little things just didn't bounce our way, right? But I think we came out of that saying, okay, that's one of your better teams.
Mhm.
Okay, we here now. And I think they showing you here, and I don't see us going anywhere anytime soon. But man, let's dive into the offensive of side of it, man. Obviously we talked Dak. You can't say enough about Dak Prescott. Give me some of the key guys for this one, man.
Man, so my favorite player of all time, my man Jason Witten, right?
Okay.
My man Jake Fergie, bro,
Yeah.
has no business hurdling dudes out there like he's doing, man. And if I'm gonna pull up the box score, I think he was our leading receiver last night as well.
Yeah, for sure. He was.
But yeah, I got it right here. 5 for 72. Yeah, led the team in receiving yards, not catches. Actually, Tony led the team in catches last night. But it's crazy because that passing game to Tony Pollard is just such a strong extension of the run game.
It's smooth.
But man, Jake Ferguson is becoming one of my favorite Cowboys to watch. He is gritty, he is tough, and he'll get in your face too after he makes a big play, bro.
And I'm glad you said it, because when I brought up offensive guys, man, like he's the first guy I was just thinking about, like the fact that they call him the enforcer.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It just fits, man. And like he's showing that grittiness every week. Like he's willing to block. You know what I mean? He's making the catches down the seam. He's catching short passes. He's running with the yak. He's doing everything at his new mode tight end. That really like he's a star in the making. Like, how can you not, like, you look at the eye test, right? And it really looked like you can get this guy 10 plus targets a week, man. However you gonna give it to him, he gonna make a play. You got him out here leaping guys, you got him trucking guys. Sorry, what did he send the boy Sidney Brown out the game? I mean,
Oh, that
I
was
know
Blankenship.
Blake, yeah, Blankenship. I'm sorry, but obviously we don't look forward to injuries or anything like that. But look, it just goes to show you how physical a guy like that is, right? So Jake is the dude.
He,
Jake is the dude. Moving forward, keep giving him a rock, keep featuring him. Dalton who?
right. Dalton unhealthy
I,
because he ain't been playing for
I
Houston.
man, I forgot, man. And this is what we always envisioned with Jake Ferguson. We just knew once he got the touches, once we started featuring him like we featuring him now, like he could be a star. And I think he's already like kind of putting his imprint in that.
And you know what's crazy too? I had a little ticket in last night with Jalen Tolbert, right? I needed 2 catches. He got 0. Michael Gallup, bro, he just shows up randomly and it looks phenomenal when it's there, right? He had that beautiful catch down the left side of the field.
Yeah,
Beautiful pass by Dak Prescott. Amazing play by Michael Gallup. So it's nice to see him in spurts. But I know we mentioned it before. I think more of Rico is more of Tony Pollard, right? And the touches that Rico is getting, man, he looks phenomenal. It's hard to imagine that he's a 4th-year player. Like he was just kind of buried down the depth chart. But you
yeah.
remember in the offseason, it kind of came out like he was upset. He didn't really practice hard. But I mean, sitting behind Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, I think he probably knew he had something to offer, and they just didn't.
No, not to cut you off. you referring to Malik
Oh, I'm on the wrong
Davis.
side of that. Okay.
Malik Davis was the one that was frustrated. And he was supposed to be the guy that had the touches and everything was lining up for
That's
him.
me. That's my bad.
Rico just came and took his job, man. Rico, he that dude.
Rico hurdled him like Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, and you talk about the way they're using them, right? It seemed like they've been like using them sparingly, like I mean, a little bit here, a little bit there. But I think this game was the first time we really was able to sit back and was like, they got a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I mean, kind of remind me of that Zeke and Tony Pollard yin yang, and where it's like they featured him enough where he looked like he could be that bell cow. You know, it's a difference. Like Tony Pollard, he got like smooth patience run where he kind of just steps to the side, he gets it, he cuts. Rico he just finding the creases, and when he gets that crease, he putting his shoulder down and he's turning those 3 to 5. And you know what I mean? I like what I see from Rico. And when he got hurt, honestly, I was like, boy, like we need that.
Right.
And I'm glad. I think the Cowboys finally realized they need that. And overall, man, the run game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we talk about just clicking at the right time, and this is where you want to be. You know what I mean? We was a little bit worried about the defense last week. This was positive in itself that they stepped back, they stepped up this game, right? Dak is continuing what he's doing. Everybody, all the weapons is just kind of smooth sailing. The only thing we was worried about on his offense was like, yo, we got to get that run game going. We need a little bit more. And I think the last 3 weeks, it finally is at the point now. It's like we clicking.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is clicking right now for sure.
No, and knock on wood, man, we our offensive line has been doing a solid job. Outside, I think right now, hold on, I want to talk about that chip. I think the referees were way too involved in this game and they were making some
For sure.
dumb calls on both sides, right?
Yeah.
But the chipping call on Biadasz, what are we doing, right? Like, what is that? And
Yeah.
when you have the broadcast booth and then Gene Steratore or whatever his name is, come on saying like he doesn't see it, there should be a way to reverse that from New York, right?
Yeah.
Like if you mess up at your job, you're gonna get situated, right? How do they not have the ability to situate bullshit like on Sunday Night Football, right?
It's just BS because I mean, I hate to even bring up the rest, but like Philly, it seems like they just kind of so accustomed to like looking for the flag. Like that's what Micah need to do. Like those
The
guys on the other
little
side, like start, yeah, like look, like just start doing the ballerina, throw your hands up in the air, and just start selling it because it just seemed like every time they would throw their hands up, they literally run into the referee with their hands up.
like a bad kid to
Y-
his mom.
Yeah, man. And then you look at some of the holding calls, and it's like, come on, man. Y'all did 10 times worse on the other side, right? But like you said, we don't want to get too much into that. I think if we talk to anybody, I think Biadasz, like he had the rough stretch. Like that drive, we was driving. Was that the one that was right after the it wasn't an interception. I don't think we got it, but it was right after a big turnover, and we got the driving. Well, we got the ball like right at the 45, and we was about to take control of it right then and there. And he got that clipping call, and he got that holding
That's
call
the one
back to
that
back.
was the 60-yard field goal. That drive.
You're right. You're right. But I felt like that was going to be 7 anyway. But shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Aubrey. But overall, the offensive line, tremendous,
Mm-hmm.
tremendous. You know, what I mean, you didn't hear much of it. I think if anything, Terrence Steele, he had some matchups with Hassan Reddick, but for the most part, we ain't really had to send too much help over there. He held his own. Zach, he got a little bit banged up. He came back. He played great. The left side, we don't even need to talk about them. So solid game. CD once again solid. Did what he needed to do. Brandon Cooks once again finally stretching the field and using him how he's supposed to. And shout out Mike McCarthy.
Right.
I think like let's talk coaching, right? I think Mike McCarthy in general, now we can finally say like with him and Dak and what he's done. I know he kind of had that track record, like whether it was he doesn't get that much credit for what he did and how integral he was for Aaron Rodgers, but I think you can kind of see that like that quarterback and coach relationship is invaluable. And I think where he got Dak at, yes, Dak has always, I think, been serviceable and has been above average and even top 10 majority of his career. But now I think it's Mike McCarthy that's finally like you hear him saying it where Dak is finally like, oh, this is what quarterback supposed to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's decision making. And you talked about the drop off to Tony Pollard where it's 1-2. I'm dropping off. If they ain't there, I'm running. Like it's kind of just simplified the game for him. Mike McCarthy, man, hell of a job, man. And you know, I think he got the team clicking on all cylinders. And Dan Quinn, he called another hell of a game as well, man. And Al Harris, once again, you know what I mean? If we talking about those guys on the back end, it was really the secondary that was punching those balls out,
Yeah.
being physical. And I think that embodies him as well, man. And you know, overall, hey man, Philly, look, y'all got what was coming to y'all.
Right.
Oh, like that's the thing, man. We can't just let y'all off the hook like that. Y'all been talking all off season. y'all beat us and y'all act like y'all blew us out that game. And you know what I mean, no matter what we did, now I think it's the satisfying in itself for y'all to sit back and soak in this one, to realize, man, like you gotta respect us, whether y'all wanted to say it or not. But Dallas, I think Dallas showed, I mean, what has been all season long, all the goalposts. People would try to make all these excuses. I'm already hearing, oh, but the Cowboys had 10 days first, and it doesn't matter, man. Come down to Dallas, man, and I mean, the best team won. And I think for the foreseeable future, I don't see how they flip that switch where they can get back in that conversation. I think you have San Fran, and you have Dallas. I think Philly has dropped the step, and Detroit, they just lost to Chicago. So I think we've entrenched ourselves where we need to be, and I think what I mean, if we can get this home field advantage,
Oh, it's a
if
problem. It's a problem.
it's a way. It's a way. I don't know, man. I got this weird feeling Philly may just drop one. I don't know if it's going to be to the Giants, Arizona, who, and then we know that San Fran got Baltimore coming up. They got the Rams. Rams always play San Fran tough. There's a lot of opportunities for Dallas to get in there, but if we get the number one seed, it just feels different, man.
hmm
This year it feels different. It does.
And it's crazy too, because like growing up, man, I hated the Giants. That was the team I could not stand, right? And it had a lot to do with Eli Manning's face, but I cannot stand Nick Sirianni, bro. He bugs me in a different way. So seeing
Yeah.
his depressed looking face on the sideline yesterday, I needed that, right? Like I needed that. Sirianni,
How,
he bugs me bad, bro.
how about that cry Eagles cry sign, like ready to end? They pop popped it. It was like, hey, come on, man, come on. Now that was funny, and the timing of it was great. I will give Sirianni this though. Like, after the game, I did listen to a little bit of the press conference, and it seems like the media was trying to find ways for him to make excuses for the game, and I think he gave us all the credit. And even like they asked him, it was like, first drive, obviously they picked the flag up, trying to pretty much
Which is
say
weird,
say
right?
any, which is weird. They try to make a feed into it, but he was like, nah. He was like, yeah, I mean, they picked the flag up. He said, but actually talking to them, he said they did the right thing. He said, and if I was on the other side of that and they picked the flag up for us, I would. And the explanation that they gave me, he said that's how football's supposed to play. He said no excuses. They made the right call,
hmm
and he didn't feed into it. And he was like, they just a better. I mean, it was better. It was better today, man. And I
That's
would
humble. That's
respect that.
humble.
Yeah, I would respect that because at that moment I was wondering, like, how you gonna react in this situation. He wasn't an asshole, what I mean, after the game was over, he met Mike in the field, shook his hand like a man, wasn't an asshole. Um, Jalen Hurts on the other side of it, I don't even think when it met Dak, he was heading to the locker room. So hey, you know what I mean? That was kind of weird to me. But I think overall, they got to go look in the mirror. We, on the other hand, I think we did do that self check, and I think we feel right where we need to be. But we can't slip up though.
No.
This is only the start.
No, and I think too with the way things are gonna shake out, we should have an opportunity to compete to win the division. And if we win the division, you mentioned that the home field is going to be critical because we have not lost at home in a long time, man. But a playoff run on the road is difficult. So if we do land a wild card spot, yeah, we made it to the show, but then our work is really cut out for us. It's cut out for us either way, right? But as you always say, man, it's that quest for six, right? So this is the end zone experience, man. The Dallas Cowboys 10-3. Looking on to next week, we got Buffalo. Buffalo coming off a weird win. We'll be back with the preview. You got any final words?
Now we on a Buffalo. We on a Buffalo. Let's take care of business. Um, and I don't see us losing no more. I will say that maybe one, but remember before we started this stretch, we said we was going at least 7-1. So I think we well on our way to doing that, man. Appreciate y'all. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with another one.